Hey, welcome back to another episode of Greezyz Gurage. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Greezyz Gurage. Again, we're back on Project Murica. So we were headed to Florida. We went to Florida, we're back. I could not take Project Murica. And it's, so you remember back whenever we put the rear end in, we were talking about, man, this thing just seems to be low on power. It's just low on power. I was blaming it on gear. Well, I had a little bit of a valve train rattle in it, but when you put retro lifter roller lifters in, and so this was just a hydraulic flat tappet, and I put hydraulic rollers in it. Sometimes the tie bars, they get a little rattly, if you will. So these, I was blaming it on that, and so I went to my buddy Adam, who up at Kannapolis Engine, and he said, that's not tie bar, there's something else. So we pulled a valve cover, and the preload wasn't set right on the hydraulic lifters. The problem is we could never get the preload set correctly. So we, you know, the comment section, and I appreciate it, everybody's going to try this, try that. I can promise you, if you've thought of it, we've tried it. We don't know why. So we ended up using some poly locks on there and adjusted each one individually, and we got the rattle out. So that's what happened. The rocker arms was beating the crap out of the top of the valves. They're just beating the tar out of them, like mushrooming them way beyond what's normal wear. So I decided not to take the truck to Florida, and we pulled it down with the F350. So a few of you messaged me, was wanting to meet up, but we didn't have the truck, sorry. Now, so what's the plan? Well, we're not exactly sure what's the reason for that. So I'm going to pull it out. We're going to test the hydraulic roller lifters, make sure that's not the problem. They're not wanting to bleed down. We don't know. So, but while I've got it apart, we're going to put a set of trick flow heads on it. So that's what this video is about. So we're going to tear the engine, not the engine, just the top end apart. We're going to pull the heads off of it, and then we're going to put a set of trick flow 11R heads on, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to show you how to change out your heads, put it on. If you've never done this before, you got to pull the carburetor, you got to pull your intake manifold, your valve covers. On this particular engine, the air conditioner bracket mounts to the head, so I have to pull that off. Not yet knowing whether or not the hoses are going to be in the way, air conditioning hoses I'm talking about, is going to be in the way, whether or not I'm going to have to actually pull or pull the Freon out. I don't know. Hopefully not. I'm going to try to keep from doing that and avoiding that. But anyway, I'm going to pull these heads off. I can get to them lifters. We can do a test on those. I'm going to take them up to Adam. He's got a thing that he can test them with. Up at Kannapolis Engine, by the way. The guy's been my hero. The guy knows everything about these Ford engines. So we're going to do that. So I've got the water drained out of it right now. I'm going to push the truck back inside here, and I drain the water in a bucket outside so that it doesn't get all over my shop floor. And we will push the truck back in, and then I'm going to start taking the heads off. So carburetor, intake manifold, valve covers, heads, and got to pull the distributor out on these. So pull the distributor out. So we've got a long day ahead of us getting these heads off. So anyway, y'all stay tuned, and when I go to put the heads back on, I'll show you how to set preload on all those. All right, we'll catch you back on in a minute. All right, for those who've never pulled a distributor, you want to tackle this at home and you don't know how, and you're like, I've never pulled a distributor before. A couple things you want to mark. Let me take you off the stand and I'll show you real quick. Really simple. You can put it back in the same way it came out if you do these steps here. So I'm going to take you off the stand and show you real quick. So this is your rotor. This is the part you want to pay attention to right here. Where that is pointing, you want to mark. And so I got kind of lucky today. It's pointing right at my temperature sending unit. But I did put a mark on it, just on top of it, just to be certain that I don't forget. But it's pointing right there. It's pretty easy. And then if you take, let's see if I can zoom you in here. So put a mark on your distributor housing and a mark on the intake manifold, and then you line those up. So when you go to put this back in, you line those two marks up, you line where the rotor is pointing up, and you'll be right back in time. So you don't have to mess with putting the engine top dead center number 1, finding number 1 cylinder. You don't have to mess with any of that. You can just put it right back in the way you came out, as long as you do not turn the engine over. If you turn the engine over, then you can't do it this way. But I'm not going to turn the engine over. I'm just putting the new heads on. So there you have it. All right, y'all, I got the driver's side head off there, so we will, battery's about to die. It's the same process taking the other side off, so I get that other side off, and then when we get ready to put the other heads on, we'll cut you back on.
2 days later.
All right, guys, welcome back. As you've seen, we just got the heads off, and so it's been the next day, because I had to go up, well, it's been a few days. I had to go up to Kannapolis Engine, up to Adam, and grab the parts and pieces I needed to put the heads on. So let me show you what we're getting ready to do. I'm gonna give you a few tips. If you've never done this before, I'll give you a few tips on some mistakes that are common mistakes that people make that we will try to keep you from making. So let me get you off the stand. Let's go show you the parts we're about to put on. One more thing before I do that, I forgot. We found out the problem with the engine. Remember again, I said this engine just doesn't have the power I think that it should have, and I was blaming it on gear ratio, I was blaming it on the transmission, I was blaming it on a lot of things. And then the tick, the little rattle or whatever, appeared its head, and we got to checking. So when I took the heads up to Adam today, we pulled a couple of the valves, and I'm not sure what happened, to be honest with you. I'm not sure if I made a mistake when I did those heads, because I was the one that done them. I was the one that did the valve job on them, and I have the machine here to do all that with. But some of the valve guides in it was so loose, the valve was rattling back and forth, and it was we were losing a lot of power. So the valves were seating. It was just getting through the valve guides. Everything was bad, and the lifters was bad. That's the reason why we couldn't adjust preload. The lifters were bad. So now you know why. So that engine was down about 50 horsepower. We're guessing. It could be 25, it could be 50, but it was pretty bad. So I'm going to say that motor was down 50 horsepower with those heads on it, the way it was set up. With the new heads that I'm getting ready to show you that we're putting on, we're going to increase a normal motor by 100 horsepower. So we're going to take that motor somewhere in the neighborhood, increase that by about 150 horsepower. So I just knew something was off and just couldn't put my finger on it. Now I know why. So lesson learned, I guess, to not go ahead with a build if something doesn't feel right. Something didn't feel right with that engine build from the beginning, but it seemed fine at first, so made a mistake. Anyway, let me show you the parts we're going to put on it. All right, as I told you, the lifters were bad. Okay. So we're putting on a set of Murica roller lifters. Putting those on. Here we're putting roller rockers on this time. These are 1.6 ratio. These are Liberty stainless steel roller tips. 1.6 roller rockers. Putting those on with poly locks. Putting in new ARP head bolts. Of course, we've got our regular stuff, our intake manifold gasket, our head gaskets. I'm going to show you a trick about head gaskets that people mess up. From past experience and Adam building a lot of these engines, he kind of already knows the length of push rod. So we're going to test one push rod. And if it works, great. And if it don't, then we'll get the measuring tool out and I'll show you how to do that if we have to do that. I may make a separate video on that for another time. But push rods, hardened push rods. Why do you need hardened push rods? Because the heads have guide plates. The guide plates. And then here the rocker arm studs come with the heads, and the guide plates come with the head. But here's the star of the show, the Trick Flow heads. So I guess I should have opened that up. Let's see if I can get these out. Nice thing about aluminum, they're not very heavy. Trick Flow. I'm excited about these heads. Should have done this from the beginning. Alright, these are the Trick Flows. They are the 11Rs. They are the 190s. They are 56 cc's. And we will be putting, like I said, the new ARP head bolts in it. But with that piston, we're with 56 cc and the piston that's in it, we're going to be about 10:2 to 1 on the compression ratio. So run a little higher octane gas in it. But anyway, we're going to put this on, put you back on the stand. I'm going to put this on, and I'm going to show you a trick with the head gaskets to keep you from making a mistake. All right. When you put head gaskets on, if your head gasket, I don't know if that'll go in that camera or not. Let's see. Let's try it on the back side. It's going to say front. See that? That says front. So, the front of the motor is the front of the truck. Put your head gaskets with the front facing front. It does not matter if it's the painted side or the non-painted side. Okay, so there's one side that looks like it's just gray and the other side looks painted. That does not matter. This is the reason why people that build small block Fords and then they say it's overheating, something's wrong. It's not there is something wrong. You put your head gaskets on wrong. If the front goes in, where it says front goes in the back, then you are covering up the coolant holes in the back. So the water can't flow anymore. It's being blocked. So that's why your engine overheats. Remember, it does not matter, color or gray, painted or gray, whatever, put the front to the front. And then, see this little square tab? That little square tab right there? That will let you know that it's in the front. So let me put this on and show you exactly what I mean. Okay, take you off here. So the head gasket is on. I've got it in the front. You can see front right there. See this little tab? This overhangs. Let me get my finger out of the way. This little tab overhangs. That lets you know if the head is on there and that tab is not there, then you have it on backwards. See these coolant holes right here? Watch this. I'm going to put this on backwards. And I have made this mistake, so trust me. And it is not fun to have to pull this back apart because you made this mistake. Now look, no tab, so it's on backwards, but look what happened. It covered up those coolant holes. Okay, those holes have to flow. The holes have to be closed on the front, not on the back. So let's put this back on the right way. I'm trying to save you all a major, major headache. Tabs visible from underneath. Even with the head on it, it'll be visible. And the coolant holes in the back are open. That will keep you from making a big mistake. All right, so let's put the heads on, or the head. Nice thing about aluminum. I can always check. I can still see my tab. It's sticking out here. Okay, guys. I know I keep like pushing that, but it's the #1 mistake people make. So let's get some head bolts in this. All right, so I'm using ARP head bolts. To install head bolts, the washer, you'll see it, it's obvious. I won't show it to you because it'd be hard to pick up on the camera. There's a chamfered side on the washer. That chamfered side goes to the head bolt. Goes up. If you're holding the head bolt this way, it goes up. They give you this Ultra Torque ARP, it comes in the kit. So what they want you to do is they want you to put a little bit between the washer and the head. There, so we put a little dab there, and obviously you're going to put some on the thread. So I just put some on there, give it a nice squish in, and then Put it in. You want everything to make sure it goes hand tight. Started by hand for sure. Okay, so I've got these all started by hand, and this stuff just gets all over you, so make sure you have your greasy wipes ready. I know. Got to get the plug in. Alright, so there's a torque spec for all of these. So let me go ahead and get these all tightened up and in, and then I'll show you the torque spec. The torque spec's 100 pounds, and you want to do it in 3 steps, with the final step being 100. So I'll do 40, 60, and 100. But let me go ahead and get all these in and tightened up, or hand tied in. Alright, there's a torque sequence you have to go through. You're going to start with the middle bolts. You got 5 of them. So start with, if you're counting from the front to back, 1, 2, 3. Do that one, and then go immediately below it and do that one. Then come to the front one in the middle, and then the bottom one in the middle, and then go to the back one in the middle, and then down. So you're going to go top, bottom, front, the next one front, bottom, and then the next one back from the middle, top and bottom. Hope that makes sense. Look it up. If that didn't make sense to you, just look it up. So I'm going to torque this 3 different torque specs to end at 100. Okay. And this is going to be kind of hard to do. Let me go around the other side of the camera. Alright, need the longer extension. Okay, so middle, top. Okay, and then it doesn't matter, you can go back one or this one, doesn't matter. I've got a daggone air conditioner line in the way of this one, is what's aggravating. Then we'll come all the way to the front. Real life world stuff here. All right. Air conditioner. All right, that was the first setting. That was more of a chore than it needed to be. It's a lot easier when it's not on the car. Okay, final setting, 100 pounds, 100 foot-pounds. Whew. That was a chore. They're a whole lot easier out of the truck. I can promise you that. Hey guys, so guess what? We finally got those heads on there, and as you can tell, it's dark. We've got some lights out here. This thing absolutely beat my brains in. If it could go wrong, it went wrong. So I got the heads on there. We still had a tick. I had to go back through the lifters, reset the preloads. I make mistakes, and you all know we show it when we make mistakes, and I set the preload wrong on one of them, and it was just ticking away. Got it done, couldn't get the idle to come down, had an intake gasket leak. So I had to take the intake back off, order new intake gaskets. And so we finally got all that buttoned up, and it sounds freaking awesome. All right, I'm gonna start it up for you real quick just to kind of let you hear it. And then I got a special surprise for you. Hang on a second. So there you have it. We got it all settled in. This thing's got a ton of horsepower. We will not have a problem going on that America tour. Okay, so anyway, I got a special guest here, and I'm going to introduce him in. Hank, come on in. Hank, tell us about yourself.
Hey guys, my name's Hank Thompson. Live pretty close to old Greezy here. Been into cars since I was knee-high to a grasshopper, and starting to work on hot rods myself, so figured he's a good guy to get in with and help teach me some new tricks and everything. So.
Nice. He's looking to build an F100 too. So, yeah, been looking at the S550 stuff too, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's a diehard video, watches all of our videos. Diehard watcher, I should say, and watches our videos. So, if you show up here, you don't go home empty-handed. So we gave him some of our greasy soap and our grip wipes, and send him on his way here in just a minute after we get this video done. He's probably not going to come back because he got suckered in on the video, right?
Oh, no, I'll be back around.
All right, cool. So, man, I'm telling you, look, man, you want to build a truck, you're this close. You say the word, me and Sean will be there. We'll help you put your truck together.
Absolutely. I know who to reach out to for sure.
Heck yeah, yeah. So, hey, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you learned something from it. We threw a lot of tips in there. Make sure you go down and hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can be notified of all those wonderful videos coming out. Also, if you stayed to the video this long, guess what? We got a 32 Ford Roadster build coming up. That's going to be the next video series. Appreciate you. Love you. God bless you. Now go do your America.